If you've noticed that the battery life of your Apple Watch is starting to die way faster than it should, then don't go anywhere. Today, we are making some freaking awesome battery life improvements. I've put together a practical list of 10 things you can do right now to improve the battery life of your Apple Watch. Number 1, turn down that brightness. The biggest killer of battery life on the Apple Watch is oftentimes the screen. So what you can do is you can go into settings on the watch, scroll down to display and brightness, and turn down the brightness a bit. Now I was on the lowest because I can handle that brightness, but you just set it to what you can handle. Just make sure it's not set to the top. So either go middle, or if you want a little bit more savings, go all the way to the bottom. Number 2, use a watch face that contains a lot of black. Now don't get me wrong, I love these vibrant and really awesome watch faces, but the problem with them is that they use up more battery life every time you turn your screen on. Now to save the most battery life, you actually want to use one that's fairly black. So this one here, every black pixel, without going into too much detail, but every black pixel is actually an LED light that is not powered on, and that means it's not using up power. So the more black you have on your watch face and less animation, the more charge you're going to save out of it. Now even here, this isn't fully optimized because that 9 here is completely white. So if that was a black white outline with the black as well, then that would be a little bit better, but it's still better than something like this. 3, make sure your OS is up to date. OS updates by Apple often make the operating system more efficient and it saves more battery. Now if you go back into settings, go to general and check software update, if you are not on the latest, I really recommend that you update your watch overnight or during the day so that it's on the latest version. It'll just optimize the code of the watch, and oftentimes it does really improve your battery life. Number 4, uninstall those apps that you're not using anymore. Any app that you're not really using is an opportunity for your device to be sending data that you don't really care about to and from your Apple Watch and your phone. So what you can do is, if you're in grid view, do a long tap here, go to list view, and you can also do this from your watch through the watch app on your iPhone. But for example, let's say I'm going to uninstall My Tuner Radio because I never do that, I never use that. What you do is you hold it, swipe it across to the left and just click that delete button. Are you sure you want to delete My Tuner Radio? And then click delete app. The less apps that you have on your watch, the more likely data is not being sent, and it's just going to save you more battery. So just get rid of everything that you don't really use. 5, check out your background app refresh settings. Now this one here is similar to the previous tip. What you can do is go into settings and check this background app refresh. Now every time an app refreshes in the background, it's sending data to and forth with your watch, and it's going to cause data to be sent and charge to be wasted. So obviously uninstalling the app is like the be all and end all. That will completely stop this from happening for each of those apps that you've uninstalled. However, if you still want to keep one of these apps and you don't want to uninstall it, but you don't really need it to send data all the time, then you can come in here and turn it off. So for example, if I don't want my calculator sending data, it doesn't really send much data anyway, but if it does, I can turn that off and that will save me a little bit of battery. If you don't want background app refreshing at all, then you can turn this off and it will preserve battery life. Just to note that if you do have a complication set, it will still do a background app refresh. 6, get rid of those extra flashy effects. Still within the settings app, another thing that you can do is go to settings, go to accessibility, scroll down all the way and turn on this reduce motion. Now reduce motion is that thing that you can see there. When I just went out of that, it kind of like shrank it as it went. There's a little bit of an animation there, and you can see if I turn it back on, it just goes straight away. Now those motions do use up a little bit of battery. Obviously it's a small thing, but these all add up, and to me, I'm not really affected by having that turned on, so I'm just going to leave it on and save a little bit more battery. Number 7, workout power saving mode. Another one you can also do, still within the settings app of course, is all the way down to workout, and you can turn on power saving mode for your workouts. Now this one is a little bit questionable because if you do use the watch for fitness and you are running and walking, then it will affect you a little bit. But basically this turns off the heart rate sensor when doing a running or walking exercise, and that will save you a lot of battery when you are doing those things. It will only really affect it when you actually are doing those activities. So not a massive deal to turn this one on. But if it's something you're doing, like you go for a run and the battery just dies super quick, then definitely worth checking this one out and turning it on. Number 8, disable wake on wrist. Back into settings again. If you find your watch coming on when your watch face coming on when you're like stretching or anything like that, when you are raising your wrist, but you're not really raising your wrist, then this might be something you want to check out. Now, obviously this isn't applicable to the Series 5 because of the always on display, but if you do have a Series 3 or older model, basically you can come into settings, scroll down to wake screen, come to wake screen on wrist raise, and you can turn that off. And this will just save you a little bit of battery throughout the day because the face just won't be coming on as much. Number 9, turn off Hey Siri. Still staying in the settings app. Now, our good friend here, Siri, will always listen for those magic words. Now, if you come into settings, Siri, and turn that off, Siri won't respond to it, but this will actually save you a lot of battery because throughout the day, your watch has to be monitoring for this particular phrase. Now, even if you only say it, once or twice per day, it is costing battery all day if you have that on. So if you're not using it that often, definitely one to turn off. 10, reboot your watch every now and then. Sounds silly, but if you're like me, I usually get mine on the charge before it dies, meaning the times can go weeks before I even reboot my watch. So this is not ideal, and sometimes all the device needs is a kick in the guts so that it can run optimally. So what you can do is you can hold down the button on the side here, and you can slide to power off, and then just turn it back on, and it will be fresh and good to go. I hope you guys are getting much more battery life out of your watch now. If you are, then definitely hit that like button and click that red subscribe button. It means a lot, and you're gonna get a wealth of Apple Watch content here and wearable tech content in general. You're here with Scott, where I like to help you guys get the most out of your tech, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.